All right, so we're back to experimenting with paint and tools, and I love figuring out new ways to use things to create great textures. You know, we chose a region of the United States, and you drew a sketch of that region's landscape, and now you're creating papers because we're going to create a painted paper collage of our regional landscape. You've been working on this, and we looked at some ways to create textures, and I've got some really cool new ones that I want to show you today. What you're going to need when you're painting is a paintbrush. I've chosen to use the big paintbrush, which I call Papa Bear, because I want to get a lot of paint on here. Don't forget you'll need a cup of water, and remember to fill it to the black line, not over. You'll need a tray of tempera paint. We're using the tempera paints, and I have those stored in the ice cube trays. Then you are going to need whatever tool that you are going to experiment with. So I'm going to show you, one idea I had was just using cardboard. These are just pieces of cardboard, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that. So remember, you can either make your colors realistic, or you can make them not realistic, and you can make them a little more abstract. The first thing I'm going to do is get my color on here. And remember, my paintbrush must be clean and dry when I dip into a new color. So I'm going to need to wash my paintbrush off. Make sure you're drying it off with a paper towel. Make sure you've got that. I'm going to add a little purple in here. And I am simply just brushing my paint on. Remember, if you get it on the table, absolutely no worries. We'll clean that up at the end. And there's a couple ways that you can do this. I've got my paint on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this cardboard, and I am just going to pull, oh, look at that, pull it through. Oh, that's kind of cool. You know what? You might even, on another piece of paper, want to take, if you see that it built up the paint there, I can take that and actually use it. Wow, that's awesome. On the blank side. Let me see what would happen if I pulled through the other way. I love experimenting with this paint. I love when you as students show me things I've never thought about before. I absolutely love it. Now what you'll do once you finish with this, I think both of those are super cool. Once you finish with this, you're going to go ahead and carry it over to the drying rack. Once it's on the drying rack, you'll go ahead and you're going to go ahead and clean up your area, and then get a new piece of paper down. Make sure that what you do is you divide that paper into 3 or 4, depending on what you're working with. You're going to clean out your brush. And I want to show you another really cool way of creating some painted paper. So once you're finished with this cardboard, you can go ahead and throw that cardboard away. We are not going to reuse that. Now, the next idea I had was with this really cool foil. And what you're going to do is you're going to crumple up this foil so it looks like this. You're going to paint your paper. So this time I'm going to do some red. And I'm going to paint that paper red. And with my foil, let me just show you. You're going to want to paint that whole section. But just for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do that. So I've got this crumpled up. And what I can do is I can take this crumpled up foil and I can dab it, I can scrape it, I can rub it. Oh, that's making a neat texture. Once there's a whole lot of paint on that, you might want to turn it and you can pull it through another way. You can see I'm just kind of twisting it. That's really making a great texture on there. Experiment with the foil. See what kind of things. You can also kind of make it into a point, and you can scrape designs in just like that. So experiment with that. The next thing I want to show you is I've got these Legos. The Legos are great for printing with. You can use either side, and there's a couple ways you can do this. One way is you can actually just print by painting your Lego, painting the paint right on it. So let me show you. I'm just painting that paint on here, and then you can go ahead and stamp. And I can stamp with this all over. The other thing that you can do is paint this area first, and then stamp on top of that. So you may not want the background white. You may want a color. So just looking at what I did, that's so fun to print with this. Now you can use the same one. I could also, look at this one. This is cool. And actually, I'm gonna change the color of my paint. Remember, every time you change the color of your paint, you're gonna clean that paintbrush off and dry it. I'm gonna dip into some purple. I'm going to paint this. Oh, look at that. Ah, cool. And I am stamping that. So that can make some really cool. You want to pretty much fill up that whole section to use. Well, that's just a few more of the tools that you can use to create these painted papers. Have a great time experimenting. This is what artists do. We experiment with our materials and find out new ways to use them. I hope you're showing me something new I've never seen before. Enjoy your painting.